Infor offers a comprehensive human capital management solution. For the purposes of today's topic, we're going to talk about the system of record, and this is where all of your people are. This is where you establish your benefit administration plans, which of course gives you full real-time visibility to where an individual is in the organization and the positions that they hold. There's also the ability to completely support the employee experience by having your plan documents and other information that you'd like readily available to your employees as they're empowered from a self-service perspective to do their own enrollments, as well as the result of this flows through to payroll and streamlines your benefit to payroll process. Based on the scenarios, I've put together a highlight of the key topics in those documents: setup, employee elections, and processing and reporting. So let's jump in and talk about the plan setup. So as the benefit administrator, this is a secured role, and you can have deeper security so that different benefit administrators are managing different segments of your employee population. This is where you have the power to go in and actually define your benefit plans. So these are all the various plans that I've established within my data set, and I'm just going to use my health insurance as an example. So as we come in and talk about our health insurance deductions, the system is effective dated, so everything we're looking at from a business rule perspective is in effect as of this date. If we need to make any rule changes, we simply put in an end date for this rule, and it will start adopting new rules as of the new start date. When we come in and talk about our benefit plans, a very key concept that's important is talking about employee groups. Employee groups are where you have the ability to come in and define different employee populations, such as police, administrators, licensed teachers, subs. By having different employee groups, it will allow us to have different business rules or different criteria being applied to different employee populations. That's critical when we start coming in and talking about rules. Rules can manage entries such as waiting periods. It can manage changes. I was a sub, now I'm a full-time teacher, straight through to termination rules. All these rules are managed the same way. You simply open up the rule, take your items off your pick list, and the system will enforce it. So whether we're talking about when do you want your benefits to stop, and according to your documentation, you say at the end of the month, or whether you want to have another criteria and have certain waiting days or months. So by defining your business rules, which of course are all effective dated, the system will automate the administration of your policies. As far as the benefit plan itself, you will define how coverage is offered. Coverage, again, could have different rules or different categories based on different employee populations. But these are all user-defined, and as you come in and define what your options are, such as single plus one full family, this is your verbiage, and this is how data will actually display during your open enrollment processes. These different coverages result or drive different contribution rates. So again, based on different employee populations, you could have part-time people that are doing an 80-20 cost share, full-time people who are doing a 50-50 cost share. So as you come in and look at any of these contribution tables, these are specifically for this portion of your employee population. Based on your user-defined categories, there is both the employee contribution, the organization's contribution for total premium associated to that particular item. The definition of these particular categories, whether these are going to be pre-taxed, after-tax, whether there's no contribution, depending on how the calculation is taking. Is it a percentage of specific salaries? Is there a rate table? All of these are based on the parameters you would select for that particular benefit plan. The result of the benefit plan definition is, of course, a deduction. So whether that deduction is pre-tax or post-tax, and if that's coming in and it's a 403B or a 125, it's going to automatically administer the annual limits. Regardless of the number of TSAs you have, the payroll system will merge those all together and acknowledge a single annual limit across those plans. And these are the key points of plan setup in our benefit administration module. Now, once we have plans established, we want to talk about the enrollment process. So enrollment can happen in several different ways. It can be a new hire open enrollment. It could be someone going through a life event, such as a marriage or birth of a child. For the time constraint, we're just going to focus on open enrollment. So as we come in open enrollment, this would be the date open enrollment goes into effect. Mine is based off a calendar year, but for you, this is probably September 1st, and your enrollment period is June to July. If we had an enrollment process such as a marriage or birth of a child, we may require that documentation be attached to that. Otherwise, it's simply a matter of which rules we choose to define for this particular employee population. As we come in and look at these particular rules, part of this is being able to automate your communication. So the system is designed to allow you to have email templates, basically mail merge documents, that will create personalized enrollment for each one of your individuals. And then these will result in a personalized experience for the individual. You are in complete control of your verbiage and content that is displaying for your particular employees, and you can put in photos, images, hyperlinks, bold, however you choose to have that data actually display, and you can create unique experiences for different employee populations. Once you actually have your rules defined, then you're able to start your rollout process. So as the subject matter experts, you are able to initiate your open enrollment period, which will put a draft enrollment out for everybody across the organization who is eligible. So as we change our hats and come in as a particular end user employee, here we have Seth coming in under his role as an employee. He's coming in and having his opportunity to do his benefit enrollment. Now remember, enrollment could be new hire, it could be life events. This just happens to be the open enrollment experience. So as Seth comes in, he's greeted with that verbiage that you selected for him. As he moves forward through these steps, there's always the confirmation of this is what you had last time. And as the year goes by, there could have been changes. So maybe you're going to allow him to add benefits or beneficiaries, update or remove certain information that's already present. And then he comes into the actual enrollment experience. Now, whether the enrollment experience has questions up front, like are you a smoker, non-smoker, whether you would like some aids made available to your employees, such as allowing them to come in and actually model their different life usages of particular benefits. So you can add a spouse and add a child and then come in and actually look at plan-by-plan comparisons and see how you use your plans and what's most cost-effective. But ultimately, the employee needs to come in and make elections. Whether you desire for your employees to actually be able to generate worksheets, which would allow them to either go in and do it on paper or bring it home and have a discussion with a spouse, it is going to provide the same benefit options that they would receive online. So as the employee, if they do continue to choose in their online experience, they will move through each benefit that they are personally eligible for, saying only the contribution rates that are relevant to them. At the end of moving through those various benefit plans and making their decisions, it will give them an opportunity to print a confirmation statement or store it online so that they can actually see this is what they elected, these are the dates they're going into effect, these are the particular dependents for each one of those plans and who's actually covering it. So once we have actually completed this as an employee, and whether they're coming in to do this through a life event or an onboard enrollment, these are all items that are delivered out of the box. As the employee moves through those particular selections, there's visibility back at the organizational level in order to see who has actually enrolled for different benefits. So as we come in and look at the subject matter expert at Seth, we can see exactly what he has enrolled. If he had confusion during the process, you can actually emulate his enrollment experience. You can validate his worksheet confirmation, full visibility across the employee and what they're experiencing. Upon completion of your enrollment processes, you will always have the ability by plan, by resource, Maybe you're managing your evidence of insurability, but you always have access to come in on any particular employee. So here we're coming in and selecting Seth, and you have full visibility of what he's been offered, what his current elections have been, straight through to any enrollment events and where he may be, such as here is a pending marriage, and it's in the process of, it's submitted but not yet finalized. As far as communication outside of the organization, when you come in and actually process your payroll, one other comment, employees can also do what I just showed from that employee experience from their mobile devices. So as we come in and actually process the payroll side of the house, because these result in payroll deductions, both employee deductions and employer contributions, there was a question about how this passes over to the financial side. That is part of our standard payroll close. So your whole arrearage, annual tax limits, one-time corrections, this is all part of your payroll processing, all of which gets fed to both GL and to AP for that one version of the truth. So the last piece of the equation is actually coming in and talking about reporting. So reporting, there is the ability for you to be able to interface to any third party. We can create export files specifically for each third party, have import files if appropriate, and of course we're generating your standard HIPAA compliant file format. And of course when we're talking about HIPAA compliance, this is going to be configured based on each particular vendor, straight down through your choice on whether or not you choose to receive an acknowledgement back upon their successful receipt. So from a big picture perspective, this has the ability to take you through your complete art of managing benefits, your policies, practices, helps you through your negotiated planning, manages all of your online events, your open enrollments, as well as compliance and reporting. So our takeaways from today's meeting is based on your security and business processes, the ability to have your separation of duties, what payroll manages, what benefit manages. There's the universal effective date, all working out of the one version of truth, so truly understanding what's happening with your employee population as they're evolving, which eliminates manual and duplicate effort and creates a positive end user experience, whether that's you, the subject matter expert, or your employees coming in to do their open enrollment. Thank you for your consideration and time today looking at this module.